Hey guys, what's going on? You are watching the Bitter Jury Podcast. It's episode 24, and we're here tonight to talk about the latest evictee of the Big Brother Canada house, Big Brother 6 Canada house. That's Big Brother Canada 6 house. Yeah.
Mhm.
Any order of that.
It all works.
And so we ended with Paris and Maddie on the block. And before we get any further, my name is Kelly.
I'm Jacob, and put me in
That's
that house. Oh man. So we have quite the episode. I was actually surprised at how invested I was in this episode. Um, because for the last 2 weeks we've been complaining and moaning about how the season is over and we all kind of know what's happening, but like I don't know about you, but I've sort of resigned myself to the fact that this is a reality television show, and um, there's still some interesting tidbits to be had, like and there's some redeeming things that happen in this episode that don't have anything to do with game that I think are really important to touch on. And we can get on those as we go through the episode, but
Yeah.
um, I will say that like we start out seeing some campaigning done by both Maddie and Paris. And Paris's campaign skills are like I feel like they're diminishing over as we get further into the season. I feel like she when she's talking about saving her own game, she's really terrible. But when she has somebody to fight for, she's fantastic. And
Mhm.
so when we get down to these final five people, there's not much. You're only playing for yourself, and she has time and time again been very good at playing in a group, um, or for
Mhm.
somebody else, but she doesn't really know how to turn on that switch when it comes to her own. She doesn't even know what her own best interest is at this point, and how to articulate that. I don't think.
Mhm.
Uh, what do you think? You might have a different take.
No, yeah, and I have a feeling that it's probably getting harder and harder for her to make these like really strong things. Besides the fact strong campaigns, besides the fact that she doesn't really have too much anyone else to fight for her, but also that the people that she has left. So it's either like campaigning against Will, who she's made abundantly, or like,
Yeah.
sorry. So we have Maddie. Maddie's on the block. So
Mhm.
campaigning against Maddie, like she has made a pretty deep connection with her. So I wonder if it's kind of just starting to like it's all starting to
Wear
build
on
up, and
her
like
a little bit.
yeah, and the connections are really deep at this point, and so she
Uh,
just like it's become more personal. That's what
yeah.
I'm trying to say, and
Yeah.
so that's why it would make it a lot more tough for her.
I'm an emotionless robot. Emotions are dumb. Like, just play the game. Um, but yeah, I don't know. There's not much like, and the house guests keep talking about social games still. I have no idea why. There's five people left in the house, and the only thing that should matter is how you get to the end at this point. You can't
Yep.
really have conversations that trick anybody at this point. Everybody knows where each other's
Yeah.
at. So it was really confusing to hear Paris talk about that too. Uh,
Yeah, it just like it kind of almost feels like an insult
right.
when I'm watching it, because they talk about how so later on in the episode, for instance,
Yeah. Yep.
they went to the East Coast to go visit the families for 10 minutes, which I
Mhm.
thought was a ridiculous waste of time.
Yep.
I mean, it was nice to see a little insight, but either
Sure.
way, Arissa intros this piece by saying, Will and Kayla are both from the East Coast. Kayla's playing a great competitive game. Will's playing a great social game. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? Because it genuinely doesn't feel like that. Like it just
Right.
because there's nothing like when if say that Will makes it to final two,
Right.
which is likely that he will.
Mhm.
What is his argument going
I
to be?
can't wait for that speech. Holy crap! I can't wait.
Especially after the veto that he threw that he had in the freaking bag.
I cannot wait for that speech.
Oh man.
Um.
Ugh.
Yeah, I can't
Ugh.
wait for that. I mean, he was playing a great social game in the way that I don't know. He's playing enough of a social game to where people feel emotionally attached to him, which has kept him somehow safe. Um, but I guess it goes to what you credit. Is it his social interactions that are keeping him safe, or the fact that he just can't win anything that's keeping him
The
safe?
fact that he can't win anything. I mean, the one comp that was literally designed for him to
Yeah,
win,
right,
that he had no problem beating over everyone else.
right.
He jumped down
Yeah,
when he didn't even freaking sorry. Like I'm still
yeah,
blown away at this
mhm,
that
yeah.
he would have been guaranteed Final Four either way.
That was a fun veto. That was a fun
Oh, that
veto
was
to
such a
watch. By
cool
the way,
veto. It
that was
was
a great
such
veto.
a cool veto. Like I would have kicked that veto's ass.
Yeah,
That was so
absolutely,
awesome. But
absolutely.
either way, Will has definitely made himself like Victoria from BB16.
Yep, and I don't see
100%.
how that's possible.
They
But
could look so different.
I know
They,
one is like
oh
5 foot
man.
nothing, and if that, and the other person's 6'7" or something
And
like that.
she's like she values herself as like a princess, like someone who
Right.
like super
Yeah.
high class. And then Will is an oil rig
Right.
guy, like
Hmm.
two vastly different
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah.
And
Like,
oh my
do you
god,
remember when we were drafting? We were excited about Will's like his stature. Like we were like, this guy's gonna be like a beast in comps. Like, it just turned. It's so funny how people can just sometimes really turn things around, and do things you don't expect. Like
oh
it's
man,
kind of like the reverse Danielle, from the Evil Dick season, where
oh yeah,
nobody thought that she would be like a comp beast.
because she was so young.
Young and tiny and sort of
Hmm.
unassuming looking. Everybody thought she was just kind of a blonde bombshell that they had on the season, but she turned into like this super comp beast that
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, we kind of see that in reverse with Will. Um, but I thought it was really interesting. Because this episode sort of took its time to meander into things that mattered. We got to really see this sort of look at the psychology of Maddie.
Yes,
Um,
that was
and
wonderful.
I really appreciate that. I don't appreciate her game as much as I appreciate her as a person. I feel like she represents super fans in a really good way, except for the part where she
The actual gameplay.
yeah, and except for the part where she called herself better than Kevin because
Yeah.
but I'm willing to forgive and forget. Like that's a young woman making a really stupid comment once, and I feel like we're all allowed to make that mistake when we
Out of every stupid comment that you could make, that's probably the nicest one. Like,
right,
because she could have gone homophobic, she could have gone
yeah,
racist, sexist,
yeah,
but no,
right.
she stuck to Big Brother. So thank you for that.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We've seen some terrible things on Big Brother, and I feel like she really it wouldn't make me vote for her because I don't vote off of feelings because again those are stupid. But like I think that she represents herself well and she's tried really hard and it's really cool to see somebody like that on the show. Um, and she's willing to play for herself. She's shown that she's sort of been she was put into this trio, right?
Hmm.
And she couldn't win to get herself out of it, so it was her best chance to move forward.
Yeah.
And um, she certainly won't be an all-star, but I will not forget her. Um, that's for sure, because she definitely seems like the person that is going to be a champion for the players. She's going to be on Twitter. She's going to be on all of the social media in future seasons promoting the game, and I really appreciate that from her. And it shows in her pitch. She was,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like
um,
she even there was a video that she posted where she was like in tears. She was like full on bawling
mhm.
when BB Can was renewed.
Yeah,
So like you can tell that she really is a fan of this game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and and the fact that okay, so Kevin did it first, and he did it better. But like all of the things that she was using to count the days, and she was using like
Oh
chips
yeah.
and sprinkles and all of these things to really hone those mental things. But like, yeah, I just I don't know. I really have more of a respect for her as a person because they took so much time to sort of give her that edit, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, especially since they didn't really have anything else to fill it up with.
Right.
But I will say, like, her final speech, where she talked about how just because you do this thing doesn't make you this really bad thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a
Right.
weirdo. Just
Right.
because you stand out doesn't mean, like,
Yeah, it does. Just because you have your own opinion doesn't make you a bitch. You
yeah,
know, I think that was really
I
cool.
love that.
That
Like,
was great.
I was just like,
Um,
yes.
yeah. Now let's talk about sort of what the problem that I think we have in that when you look at Paris and you look at Maddie, um,
Mhm.
I see one person who's got a 0% shot to win this game. I I
Maddie.
s- yes, and I see the other person who's got like a 5% chance to win this game.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm taking a look at that math, I'm gonna keep the person no matter what every single time that has a 0% chance to win against everybody else in on everybody else in that final.
Yeah.
Like the only person she could maybe beat is Will, but Paris is also beating Will.
Yeah.
Um, so why not take the shot at Paris?
Because they're idiots.
Well, I mean, okay,
I mean, I get, like, they're both pretty weak overall, but I don't get it either. Like I was saying from the minute that they decided that we found out Maddie was the target, that I was
yeah.
like, why are you doing that when you have an endurance competition which is coming up that is going to be in the part 3, which Paris has beaten all of you
Mm-hmm.
and she will beat you again.
Yes.
So you're giving that to her
Yeah.
versus me. I haven't beaten you. When I
Well,
say me, I mean Maddie.
yeah. So okay. So even so, if you're Kayla, even right, or
Mm-hmm.
Derek, right? There are votes in the jury house that might go to you might still win, but there are votes that will go to Paris, and you never know how influential those jury members are. I'm thinking of Ryan and Johnny, right? Like
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
those votes are gonna go to Paris if Paris makes it to final two.
I don't know about Johnny. I know that I feel like Ryan would.
Um,
Why wouldn't if it was between Kayla and Paris? Why would Johnny vote for Paris over
he,
Kayla?
he said several times that he's a little bitter about about getting screwed over. So I mean, like, and we know Johnny's a little bit like extra and dramatic. So you
Mm-hmm.
know, like he might take an opportunity to make one last impression on this game. He's talked this episode about holding house meetings in the jury house, and
Yeah.
he might be joking, but also
Yeah.
if I'm super bitter, if I'm Jacob the super bitter juror, and I want to have a lasting impact on the game, I might try to show how influential I am as a juror to flip an entire jury house to vote for somebody who shouldn't win
Mm-hmm.
because I chose the winner in that case.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oh man.
um,
Just so depressing.
I
Like
mean,
no matter what way you cut this season.
well, I mean, okay, so this season I'm fine with now. It took me a little bit, and here's why. We'll never see a season like this again.
Oh, that's
Um,
true.
we
That's
will we
true.
will never see a season like this again. Um, we talked about. I think we overcorrected last week when we were saying what do we do to fix this. Because I think what happens is that these people will not want to repeat BB6. A lot like people don't or BB6. A lot like people don't want to repeat BB19. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pendulum. It's a lot like politics. So like you have the Republicans and the Democrats like kind of both swinging for power, and so what you'll see is like okay, we have a course correction from BB Can 6 where we don't want to see what happens in this house um, again. So in BB Can 7, we'll see a course correction both from the producers I think and from the house guests.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you don't want to end up being an Erica. you don't want to end up being a Johnny who could have all made more aggressive, better decisions earlier on that would have made it possible for them to win this game.
Yeah, and more, I would say even more importantly, you don't want to be a trio member.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
even though they've made it this far, and yeah, one of them is going to get second place,
Right.
it's still like it doesn't matter because they have like such a negative impact, like a negative viewing from
Yeah.
from the show. Like, I wouldn't want to do that, so I would want to make sure that I'm making moves that
Right.
aren't like you aren't over gaming. Like, if I get in there, I'm gonna make sure that I'm sticking to what I know and going for like the things that make sense to me rather than being like, oh, maybe I should do this. If I do that, like trying to think 5 moves ahead when you have the shot to do it now. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. I think like, and I think that this season there's been some confusion as to like what is actually a great move. We've talked about this a lot. But like there's a lot of influence that's been had this season by the supposed super fans of the cast that that tell somebody like Paris, who I don't think is much of a super fan, that it's a better move to keep Kayla or Derek because you could, that's protection. And we won't see that in future seasons. I don't think. I think we'll see the threats get pit against each other earlier on because this will be the first time that if they wanted to, a um a final two could have been a showman's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess the Netta John season that was possible too,
But they
but
weren't like a full blown
right,
showmance.
right,
I know what you're saying though. Like, the option won't it will be because they chose to go rather than someone else broke them up.
yes,
That'd be so stupid.
uh,
Like, great for them, but stupid, stupid, stupid game move
I mean,
on
like,
everyone else.
yeah, I just I this season is iconic in that it is the only season that we will see a showman's, put that in quotes. I mean, run the season. Like, and they shouldn't
Well,
have been
that's
able
not
to.
true. That's because BB Cam 1, we had Emmett and Jillian who were kicking so much ass, like the
Right,
very first season.
right. But then they got screwed by a twist, right?
Yeah, they got screwed by a twist, and then they were split up at Final Four, which is what we'll probably end up seeing potentially this week.
Are we done with twist? Are we done with twists when we're at Final Four now? Is BB Can 6 just done and wanting to be BB Can 7 already? Like,
Yeah, I think the twists are over. I don't really see anything else happening.
right. Like, what if they did like a battle back? Like
That'd be crazy. I would be just as pissed off during BB Cam 1 as I would like now.
what if they did a jury battle back and brought back like we know that's not gonna happen because they have the finale planned out. But like, what if they brought back like had Ryan and Ali and all the people that are in the jury right now battle back for one spot, and just can because like production could just be like, you know what, we don't want the trio in the finals.
That would be so great.
It would be so funny.
We're not gonna see that because the
No.
finale's a week from now. That we're not gonna
Yeah.
see that happen. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand for the life of me how Paris isn't the one walking out the door. This episode, Maddie leaves, but Maddie is just like the non-threat. Um, I I don't know. I don't understand. Paris can win this game. If if Paris and
Potentially
if Paris
against
and
Will.
if
Sorry.
Paris and Will wake up and they're like, okay, let's totally just like turn the season on its head, win a couple of comps. Like, I need Paris is like, listen, Will, I need you to turn that 6'7" body into something useful, and win me a comp. You know, we could see and I would be happy about it at this point. Like if Paris and Will wake up and start beasting, then absolutely
Mhm.
give one of them the win. But man, I'm just hoping to see some fireworks in Final Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
oh man. It's so yeah, basically like the only thing that I'm looking forward to at this point is veto because that's all that matters this week.
Yeah.
We didn't see the HOH on this episode, and I'm less annoyed now than I would be on a separate episode because HOH really doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who they put up because
All that matters is veto.
yeah, because whoever wins that veto determines who goes home.
Yep.
It's not HOH. So whoever wins HOH, they're going to the final three. They don't get to say who goes home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's so many decision points that could have gone so much better this entire season. For everybody who's been in power this season, everybody's made a mistake while they've been in power.
Yeah, starting with we have Ryan who put up his only two allies.
Like Johnny wasted his first HOH by putting isn't he freaking Rosina out.
Oh, but that wasn't. I mean, like Rosina was up there against Allie.
Against was it Allie or was it?
It was Allie. It was Allie because Olivia was safe.
Johnny wanted to get Liv, right? That was his.
No, that was Ryan wanted to get Olivia.
Okay.
So Olivia I believe Olivia was in heaven, which is why she wasn't able to be nominated.
Okay.
I remember it was only the two blondes. So you have Johnny who put up like someone who should have been the GOAT for the rest of the season. Yeah. And Allie, who looked to be a pretty strong competitor considering she was final three, and they send home the GOAT.
Right.
Then you have Ryan who put up his two allies, and that just fell
was
through.
Hamza and Andrew, correct?
Yeah, Hamza and Andrew.
Right. Okay.
And that totally fell through. After that was Erica, the HOH.
Erica put up the freaking salesman and
Jesse and someone else.
And then yeah.
But Jesse went home, which I guess like that was kind of a good. I don't know if that was necessarily the best move.
Was it a better move at the time?
Like, I'm sure there was. At that point, you kind of have the
move was Dayla. At that point was
we go.
I mean, the move should have always been the people cuddling on the couch night one. Like the Rosina made an appearance on Joel's podcast and spilled some tea. She said that night one they knew that
Dayla was forming.
Dayla was a thing. Rosina actually said that she named Dayla that night one. She and Allie were talking about it, and they were like, "We need to get those two out," but nobody did, and they're still here.
And look where we are.
Like the thing was, Derek and Kayla weren't talking to people night one because they were too interested in talking to each other, which should have been enough of a target to put both of them up on the block. But
Derek was Derek safe?
Well, okay.
But I know. But
week
Kayla,
week 2, week 3, week 4, yeah.
Like,
but it's I don't know. I mean, that's a bit of revisionist history, but like, it should be clear enough that those
it wasn't revisionist history though, because I'm pretty sure we were saying to target them. Right. They weren't targeted during the triple eviction. And Erica decided to go after. Before that, Erica decided to go after Marin.
Yeah.
Instead of going after Dale, like.
That was mistake numero. Like that was the biggest mistake of the entire season.
Yes.
Was the take it easy week.
It was very refreshing.
Never take it easy in the Big Brother house, by the way.
Oh man!
If you're listening to this podcast, at either now or some point in the future, don't ever if you have the chance to get into the Big Brother house, never take it easy. I would rather see 17 million Hamzas over the stupid trio we've got now. You've got
Well, now it's a duo.
well,
Heyo.
hey, the dynamic duo. But yeah, like play the game hard, like because and go after the people that are also that are floating because some of them are gonna get paid.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
This season was looking so great because we had floaters being targeted one after the other after the other after the other. And I was really looking forward to it because I was like, sweet, we are gonna end with a season like a final 8 at the very least, where it's all competitors. Every single person is like fighting. There aren't any floaters, and yet somehow this freaking trio got through.
Well, it's because they timed the triple eviction at final 8. So there was a time where we were so looking forward to the Game Ants final 2, which would have been fantastic.
Spectacular.
That would have made this one of the best Big Brother seasons ever if those two had somehow made better decisions when they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why when you're Johnny week whatever that was, how you don't put up both of how you don't secure both of one of the showmans going home. Like, because he had so much social capital, there's no way that he couldn't have convinced what became the trio not to get rid of Kayla. And then he would have been in a better spot because and then it's just one of them that can maybe screw up his game. Yeah, and I guess the lesson of the season is don't let a Marin get so far. Like, because it gives
Marin, interesting.
Yeah, don't let a Marin get so far because then you're in a situation where somebody who has too much blood on the hands, in quotes, a reason to take a week off. I'm gonna just get Marin out because we were all like at the time we were like maybe this is a good idea because she can just coast and but it turns out expect the unexpected.
Yeah. Honestly, it should have been expect the expected.
Yeah.
Like, thinking back on it now, it made like, how stupid could you be to not try to take out your biggest threats?
Yeah.
But that's something that, because we haven't really seen that before in Big Brother, because I get every season that I've watched, and I've watched a lot of them, not all of them.
Right.
I've never seen someone who's like, hey, I'm going to be targeting the pawns.
Yep.
Because the pawns go home. I mean, I guess you have Rachel, or the pawns don't go home. But I guess you kind of have
floaters,
Rachel.
Yeah, floaters grab
a life vest. Kristen. But that was more. That
was so good, by the way.
Oh man, that's like one of the most iconic moments.
Yeah. But your impersonation was really good there.
Thank you. I love doing that. Like every time. Kristen.
Yeah. I hated hearing her talk, by the way.
I'm sure she's lovely in real life.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but I mean, like.
No, I heard this interview or something with Brittany Hayes, who was on her season, and she was talking about how like Rachel would be normal, and then like once they were in jury, Rachel would be normal, and then once the camera showed up, like she would go over the top and see Rachel, and then it would go back to regular.
Okay.
So because you can't live life like that.
Yeah, like her and Brendan were just they made me nauseous. Like it was
perfect for each other.
Like there's a way to have a showmance and not have it be disgusting.
It's so funny to think about.
That was disgusting, and I'm glad for them that they're happily married.
Man,
and they have a kid or two now, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, and they went on Amazing Race twice. They got third place both times. Like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have done really, really well for
Yeah,
themselves when it comes to Big Brother
fantastic.
cast, or when it comes to CBS casting.
Like, I feel like the showmances really tend to do well for themselves post show. Like, you won't see that with Derek and Kayla, but like,
No.
I'm thinking of Jeff and Jordan and like, um, freaking Cody and Jessica. Like
Yeah.
they turned that into what is it, $1 million for the for the Amazing Race?
500,000.
Okay.
Oh no, it's 1 million. It's half each.
Right.
Sorry,
Right.
I forgot. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. I saw this clip from right after Cody and Jessica won Amazing Race.
Right.
There's a clip of when Cody and Jessica were in the Big Brother house the week that Jess was going home,
Hmm.
and they were lying in each other's arms. And then Cody said, "You know what, Jess? As soon as we're out of this house, I'm gonna make you a $500,000."
That's
And
fantastic.
it was just so cute because
Yeah.
they did it.
Yeah, good for them. Um, I honestly I we're gonna get off track, but it doesn't matter at this point. Like
It so doesn't.
there's so little going on in this episode. Let's just talk about a little bit of Big Brother. Like I hated watching Cody,
Me too.
on BB19. But because and it's not his fault. He's not meant for Big Brother. Like I know people exactly like Cody. I know that person. Like he just wasn't meant for that. He's kind of like a um he was like a more aggressive he was like a more aggressive version and a way less likable version of like Donnie. Like if you took Donnie
Yeah,
and you just and his like aversion and you just ratcheted up the aggression. But I'm so glad that him and Jessica found each other and
I know.
made amazing television on Amazing Race. That was fantastic. I mean, I haven't watched it. I'm going to though, because
Oh,
just
it's a pretty good season. I really
right.
liked it. They actually, it was kind of interesting because I saw Cody originally auditioned for, even though he auditioned for BB15, Cody's posted his audition video for Survivor, and
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
yeah,
made for Survivor, not Big Brother. I
yeah,
feel like
I think he would have done a lot better on Survivor because comps matter a lot more.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
because you have it starts out like with your two teams, and
yeah.
then you eventually go down.
You merge, right?
Yeah, you eventually have the merger, but like in the beginning, like Cody is such a strong asset that it would make sense. Like he's very strong, so it would make sense that he would do really well, at least in the first half of the game.
So, I haven't watched Survivor, but is there a chance that um is there like a social element to the game?
Oh, absolutely.
Can a social player win the game if they're not good at the survival-y comps that happen in that game?
Absolutely, because the comps that happen, it's not like oh man, there's so many good
okay.
I've only seen a season or two, but you
Right.
definitely can win. Survivor is just as much social as it is
Comps.
competition and surviving, because you have, first off, you have the hidden immunity idol,
Right.
which they don't have in Big Brother. So like you have to go search around the island for it.
Right.
Secondly, like if your team loses, then everyone on your team votes for someone to be kicked off the island. So
Right.
that's really where your social game comes into play.
Right. So you're not the person voted out by your own
Exactly.
people. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So
Cool.
Survivor or Big Brother is an indoor version of Survivor
Okay.
with some differences, but it's an
Yeah.
indoor version of Survivor.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, I am I'm looking forward already to Big Brother 20.
Oh, me too.
I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait for that to start. I can um uh, here's how I feel. I feel like the only way you can improve
Hmm.
on Big Brother is you do this. Okay. And I know this is never gonna happen, but this is my little fantasy world we're living in. We take Arissa Cox, who absolutely adores everything Big Brother.
Hmm.
You move her to the US You let Julie Chen focus on the talk and being a and doing whatever it is she does, because she's never going to leave CBS because she's married to the president. um, and you let that happen, and you open up the feeds to everyone in the US. That's the only way that it becomes better, in my opinion. Because having the feeds behind a paywall, I don't know, you might have a different opinion because
for Big Brother US.
yeah, for Big Brother US.
I actually disagree with that.
Okay,
Why
go
do you,
ahead.
why do you, no, but finish explaining your opinion first about why it's bad to hide behind a paywall.
So here's the thing. I feel like having access to the entire game. This is well, actually, the second season that I've watched the feeds pretty
Extensively.
extensively.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Kevin's season pretty extensively, and I've watched this season pretty extensively. It is a completely different game when you're watching the feeds. I didn't watch any feeds for BB19, and I've heard every single time that it's a different season altogether when you're watching the feeds.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the more people that are able to see and understand the complexity of outside of the produced show, the better. And that's basically it. But
I okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I understand the reason why BBUS can have a paywall where BB cannot, and I know that it because BB Can does not have a paywall, they have to have a lot shorter of feed time. They can't have it up as long as BBUS does. But go ahead.
Oh, I was just that's basically it. Like I was gonna say, we've already kind of seen the comparison for when you don't pay versus when you pay,
Right.
and it like there is a much larger difference. Like you get to see a lot more. You wouldn't have. I mean, you still have things that are cut out,
Right.
but
they're just like the comps. Like they're just like
yeah,
the
exactly.
production elements that the show needs to hide.
Mm-hmm. Or if there's like something like secret that's going on.
Right.
Other than that, like you would never, ever, ever, ever. Do you remember in the beginning of the show when there was like that 36-hour block out
Yeah.
on the feeds?
That was
You would
insane.
never see that.
That was
On
like
BBS.
that was like week 1 or 2, and like it was like, how does this happen?
In the very, very beginning, you would
Right.
never see that on BBUS because
Right.
we pay for the feeds.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is that I'm pretty sure starting this year, if you live in Canada, like now you get to pay to watch the feeds because up until this point, Canadians have not been able to pay for CBS All Access,
Right.
which is what you get the feeds on.
Right.
So yeah.
My only other gripe, and this is just a gripe for very personal reasons, is I really want Americans to be able to play Big Brother Canada. I
do a crossover somehow.
I want to play Big Brother Canada. BBUS would be cool, but there's too many meatheads. Like there's too many typecasts. I feel like Big Brother Canada, at least you get more of a diverse cast in that people are actually people, and you have less marks, for example. And
that's true.
But it's cool. I don't know.
No, I totally get that. You should become a dual citizen like Karen was from BB Cam 5, and then.
Oh, did she apply for BBUS as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a dual citizen, and so she applied for both, and then she got on BB Can. I think because she spends more time there, but yeah, nice. It's pretty great.
And the only reason I thought of that was I saw for about 2 weeks. I tried. Right after BB Can 5, I was on this Big Brother high, and I was like, I'm gonna watch every single version of Big Brother I'm going to.
I remember that.
So I watched BBUK for like 3 weeks.
Oh God.
And okay, so here's the thing: is they had a guy from the States on BBUK. You didn't have to be a dual citizen or anything like that, but he got on the show because he said he was a Trump supporter. Um, it
Oh.
turned out he wasn't. Um, like he just said that to get on the show, and I thought it was
Mhm.
hilarious. Um, but the thing that watching that show, the thing that I really hate about there's so many things I really hate about that version of the show. Um, but everybody vote there's no like real nomination. Like it's just like
Yeah.
and people can enter and leave the house whenever they want. So like we had like new people enter the house week 5, and I was just like, okay, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah, it's too weird to me. Like it's weird that they don't really have any comps going on. I
Right.
mean, they have like challenges and stuff, and it's weird that the public votes on it. I know that's how BB1 was originally,
Yeah.
and but in the long run, like that was not meant for us. Like
Yeah.
I tried doing the same thing. I watched BB UK.
Right.
I think it was season 7. It was the season that Nikki was on from
Mm.
BB Cam 4.
Right.
I couldn't even make it through the first episode.
Right.
I was just like, this thing, I'm sorry. I'm sure it's great. It's the same thing like with The Office. Like I love the US version, but the UK
Right.
version, it's not my thing.
Yeah. Not a Ricky Gervais fan, eh?
I mean, I can be just in summary.
Okay.
It's just the first maybe I have to make it past the first episode. It just wasn't my thing.
So one of the things that just now that we're completely down the rabbit hole, if one of the things that I loved about BBUK is they just don't care over there. Like at the start of every episode, it's like, warning: there's explicit sexual content in this episode and extreme language, and they just let it run. Like
Good.
and you see like this unfiltered. It was kind of like watching what I assume BB Over the Top would be like if they actually could like let you just see everything.
Yeah, that was pretty
Like
great.
there were so many like fist fights, and I was just like, "What is happening? What is
I
this?"
know. The only exciting thing that I've seen from PBUK was there was this fight, this night of fights where like it was this huge brawl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to send you a link to it. I can't remember.
Everybody is always drunk on that show. They like give so much alcohol, and it's fantastic.
Oh man. And that's because they haven't pulled any knives on anyone.
Right.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah. Justin, I don't even know who you are, but you ruined everything somehow.
Baby too. Big Brother too. He was the one that got drunk and put the knife.
I'll have to watch that clip. Is it on YouTube? Is it findable?
It is on YouTube. I'll send it to you. It's really easy to find.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's a completely like there's been so many iterations of Big Brother that have been so different from each other. That I would really love to see like an international version. I feel like we need to see a version of that, like centered probably in the US because it has the biggest budget.
Yes.
But I want to see like Ika and like
Rachel.
Ika and Rachel. I want them to like get in a fight and like just go at it. I need that in my life. And
I know.
like,
sadly, we're never gonna see that. I don't think Rachel's ever gonna do Big Brother again.
She's done.
Yeah, because she has a kid or two. But I mean, I know what you mean.
Yeah. A person can dream.
Yeah.
So what? Okay. So let's ask this again because things can change week over week. What is something that you want to see? Getting back to Big Brother Canada 6, the season that we're all here to talk about. What is something that you need to see before the season's over?
I need to see. I'm excited about the BB Can Awards that they look over the past season, and typically people like in the BBUS, I skip over that show. When they do a clip episode, I skip over it. But BB Can does it so well.
They're usually like super drunk when they do it.
Yeah, like they're drinking and they get really nice. Like they make it all like it's a photo shoot or a movie premiere or something like it looks so good. So I would love to see that. And I think we might be seeing that this week, because typically it's Final Four that does that.
Right. Perfect. Yeah. I want to see Will win a comp.
Come on, let's be realistic here.
I want to see Will win a comp, and yeah, I mean, if Will doesn't win a comp, just put Arissa in the house, kick Will out, and put Arissa in the house. Let her take it home. I mean, I feel like she would really want to play if she could. Like, I feel like she would really play really well. I feel like.
I hope that like Arissa realized the commitment that she was making when she signed up to be the host for Big Brother Canada, because in all likelihood she would never ever get to play the game. And that for me, because she does seem like such a big fan, so that would kind of suck. Like knowing that yes, I can be on the show, but no, I don't get to actually be one of the players.
Yeah. Okay. Assume let's just play this out. Assume that they had a season where they let the host play and they brought in like Jeff from BBUS to host, or Kevin or Bruno or somebody. They brought in somebody to host that's very hostly. Do you think that she would be a target week 1 because she's the host?
Arissa?
Yeah. Or how do you play that if you're super like, okay, assume that you're an all-star, and how do you manage not to get targeted? We saw Paul do it.
Well, I think that
how does Arissa do
she would have to win like the first HOH.
Okay.
Because like she needs to make sure that she's safe.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. Like it would be very, very interesting to see her go in.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
They actually win the top, I want to say for like Big Brother 16 or something like that, to promote Big Brother. The talk had like the hosts of it go into the show or into the house and like do a mock like week of it. And there's even like little diary rooms and stuff like that. So it's obviously not the same thing, but it's still kind of cool to see like Julie in there and Shannon and all the other people who are on the talk. I can't remember their names.
So yeah, we're seeing this season of BB Can wind down. We're seeing it be very predictable at this point, but we have BB 20 right around the corner. We have that to look forward to. Hopefully, there's some great personalities in there.
I know.
What is a typecast that you haven't seen that you want to see in Big Brother 20?
Definitely like probably the super strong feminist who might be a past debater and is a big super fan and might have a podcast. Like I haven't seen that one. Maybe from someone from like California.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm
100% in support of the super strong feminists who shall not be named. That's from a place called Modesto, California. I mean, that would be so fun. That would be so fun if you got cast. If you ended up in the show, tell us, because there's if you end up in the house, this clip is going to go viral. So, what is your early game strategy? How do you?
Early game strategy. So I'm probably not going to I'm not going to super try to win anything, even though like winning first HOH, if I can do it, it does set. Okay. See, like I'm kind of changing my mind as I'm talking right now. Probably gun for first HOH because it's the easiest one.
Okay.
And then that's when you set up because like it's an easy targets, first 2 down.
Right.
And then that's when I start to set up my social game and then try to locate my final 2. But I want to do that. Like I know it's so fast in the game, but try to find someone that I feel like I gel with really well.
Okay.
Who complements my weaknesses and like I complement their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And then from there we go and we get our own people.
Okay. Fantastic. And okay, so
what's yours?
What's mine? Well, I have a couple more questions before we get to the movie.
Okay,
I have
okay,
a
okay.
couple more questions. So okay, so assuming that we have you in the house and you so you would gun for the first HOH.
Yeah,
You said you'd want to find people that you could gel with right away.
yeah.
Who are those people? Who are you, who are the typecasts that you want to cuddle up with and have in your corner?
Definitely, like, I want to have someone who is nerdier and
That's gonna be
someone.
hard.
I know it is going to be hard.
Nerdier than you? How? Okay.
But
All right.
nerdy-ish, at least someone
Okay.
that I can like talk to, someone who gets my references, like
Okay.
because I quote The Office a lot.
Okay.
So
Right.
I don't know. I wish that I could like define this in like the typecast. You know what? I would want to align with someone who's a little more athletic, only because it would get me to work out more.
Okay.
Even though I rock climb, like that would like help me a little more, because that's all that I do.
Yeah.
So there's that. Definitely, I don't necessarily want to align with like Josh from BB19. I know that he did really well in his, like, for his season, he obviously won, but the like machismo type.
He's not even that.
I know, but like he was kind of doing that like in the very beginning, and like the overly.
He was weeping in the very first show.
But there. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm thinking of Victor. Like as
Okay.
nice as Victor was, like in the very beginning of the season, like he gave off a very machismo vibe.
Yeah. Victor,
And that one, it just bothered me.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah,
He's a nice enough guy now, but you know what I mean.
That seems fair. Yeah. Now, what would you do? Okay, last question, then you can ask me some hypothetical questions. What would you do if you were in an all like a half and half situation where there's all stars and there's you, the newbies? What do you do? How do you avoid getting into a big group of people? Because I'm assuming you want to avoid that. Right?
Well, I'm not going to create it, but if someone comes up to me, then yeah. Like the rule of thumb is say yes, agree with whatever's being said, but then have your own opinions in the back of your mind.
Absolutely.
And then if it's like half and half, like I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna target the stars or the all stars. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
That's how Victor went home in the very beginning, and that's how Paul almost went home. That's how Jose went home.
Yeah. Jose was a mess.
Oh man.
I'm Jesus, man. Like what?
No, the Messiah.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Different. Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your early game strat?
Okay. Well, let's just spill this now. Okay. So here's the deal. I like you am going to gun for the first HOH, but for different reasons. I think without fail, the first HOH is always some sort of form of endurance. Hang on to something. And if you've been watching this podcast and haven't been paying attention, like it's on in the background, I have a physical disability which prevents me from walking. I use a wheelchair most of the time, but what I would do is I would hang on to whatever that thing is with all of the upper body strength that I have, and I'd have to win that first HOH. And again, I would target the first two people, regardless of whether or not I liked them that fell on that first HOH, just to get no blood on my hands and try to get as much information as possible. Beyond that, I would utilize people's perceptions of disability against them to try to get as much information about what they think of the house guests, and utilize that to my advantage later, because that's all I've got is I've got the ability. I've got no emotions, and I've got the ability, I think, to have people give me information.
I will say, like, Jacob, you are one of the most perceptive people that I've probably ever met, which is, it's good that you like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, what would you do to help gauge people's like interpretations of your disability, or like how they perceive your disability.
Okay, so here, I think I told you this, but I'll tell the internet. Why not? So, and if I ever am in the house, you can feel free to post this video on social media. So here's what I'd do is I would ask every single person in the house to do me a favor. The first person to tell me to get bent is the person that I want to align with closely, because they don't care about perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
They realize about me that they probably realize about me that I can do more than I'm letting on, and the type of person say, no, I'm not going to let you do that. So I either have to one evict that person or two align with them, and I would prefer to align with them,
Mm-hmm.
because in that case, it'll be sort of a hidden thing, because everybody will sort of think that we don't like each other because that person refused to do me the favor, and then
Mm-hmm.
sort of secretly work with them. I hate seeing big groups in Big Brother. I would prefer to be semi alone in the house, over being in a big alliance that has a name. I hate to see that happen early on. Again, if I'm dragged to one, then absolutely, but I'm fully aware that I'm probably at the bottom of any of those big alliances.
Absolutely. I hate to say that, but yeah.
So I mean, like, I'd much rather be with a group of 2 to 3 people. I would also probably attach myself to the gay guy, because they tend to make it really far in the season.
Yeah, they do.
And much like Kevin, in order to win $500,000, I don't really care who I have to flirt with to get myself there. I mean, that's sort of the game. I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
I love it.
that's sort of the Big Brother bios for both of us. I think if you have any other questions, hit me with them, and I'm trying to think of it one more for you.
I think that's a really good strategy.
Yeah.
Like, you have it down really well, especially for your situation.
Yeah. I'd have to figure out how to get up to the HOH room, but
could use that incredible upper body strength.
Yes, absolutely. Just can army crawl my way up there every time. That would probably be the biggest challenge for me, is finding a way to have secret conversations. Honestly.
Yeah.
That would be the hardest part. I feel like I would probably need help from production in order which I feel like they'd be willing to do, in order to make it easier. I feel like they have so many people on set that can potentially help me do that. That maybe it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but that would probably be the first obstacle that would come to my mind. Because we saw from Christmas that it doesn't matter that you don't need use of your legs to make it far in this game.
I know, right?
So
seriously,
just give me my shot. I want to be in the house. I probably will not be in Big Brother 20. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But
Next season,
any future seasons, I'm more than willing to give it a shot. And one thing is, I will be the diary room villain that Ryan promised to be, except for I will actually do it 100%. So yeah, put me in the house.
Man, I could totally see you doing all of that, Jacob.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, okay, one question for you.
Yes.
How do you, because nobody talks about this, how do you manage jury?
Well, kick off the people that I know that will never vote for me.
Okay.
Ever. And then once jury actually hits, then I have to kick off the people that I can't beat, and keep in mind that I need to make sure that whoever I'm going with, whoever ends up in the final 2 with me, either they are my final 2 and they don't have really any other strong ties in the jury, right, or
somebody that's hated.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Or they're not with me, but they don't have strong ties in the jury. Right. Because if I have, say that I'm Olivia and I'm in final 2 and Allie's in the jury, I know I automatically have Allie's vote. Mm-hmm. So there's that. There's also well, first off, not lying in your DRs. But also just being really nice and making sure. I know that people hate it when blindsides are ruined, but like if I will ruin a blindside because I know that that person in the long run is going to appreciate not being blindsided, and they're gonna look back at me and be like, hey, even though like they were the person that was honest with me,
right.
and that's something that I can appreciate.
Right. Okay. I can get behind that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I guess just being nice.
Okay. So again, one more questions keep coming. So how do you? Because it can be hard in the early stages of the game to have a good reason to target people. Aside from winning first stage to age, where you have the easy out of the first two people that fell. How do you go about making making enemies that you can target? Like,
so I would go for the obvious threats.
Okay.
And go for the obvious pairs. Okay. So obvious threats, I mean like comp threats, and then obvious pairs. Probably obvious pairs first, because and like you can just be honest with them. Right. I feel like people will appreciate honesty, and especially like I'm not going to be overly honest, but being like you guys are a duo, and so that makes you a threat. Like you guys have 2 votes, whereas I'm by myself, so I only have 1. So like one of you has to go. So the best to both of you. So I think that it's more about, and then just making sure that any enemies that I create, it's not like a personal enemy. That's probably going to be the most difficult part for me, because I am a little, I don't want to say petty, but because but I definitely, I remember things. I remember things.
Okay.
Like I always, like the fact that I lost to gold for nationals for debate by 1 vote. Like I will never forget that. And just like,
so you're a little bit petty. You've got a little bit of Ika Wong in you. All right.
Just a little bit, but even if it is pettiness, like making sure, like keeping the pettiness in check, I guess. Okay. So making sure that when it comes down to it, that this is going to be like the better move for me, not because I find this person annoying, but because they're actually a threat to my game.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How quickly can you adapt? How quickly do you think you can adapt to new information?
I feel like I can do it pretty quickly. Yeah. I do know I'm not a very good liar.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like I give it away in the eyes. I give it away like when I'm talking, like my eyes kind of start to smile. So that's going to be like my biggest downfall is the fact that I'm a bad liar. I play this game with my friends called Secret Hitler. Okay. It's this amazing board game, and you have like secretive roles. There's one side which is the liberals, and one side which is the fascists, and like the liberals don't know who the fascists are, so everyone's pretending to be liberal. And whenever I'm a fascist or if I'm Secret Hitler, like I have to hide that, and it gets really, really tough. And because like if you get to know me like a little bit at all, especially during these kind of games, like you can tell when I'm lying. Right. So like that's probably my biggest downfall.
One of the funniest things I remember from debating with you is that I could always tell when you were debating an issue that you didn't actually like a side that you didn't actually agree with, even though like you're very, very like you make very, very cogent points. You can always tell when your heart is in something and when it's not. So I feel like that would be the thing if we were in the house together. I feel like I would always be able to tell when you were lying.
Yeah.
I feel like, and that's not meant to be an insult. I feel like I can figure that out with most people. But yeah, it's how do you go about fixing that?
I don't know, and I think like I don't know if it's something that I want to fix, only because like as a teacher, I feel like the fact that I'm empathetic, that's something, it's very, very beneficial, and like subbing situations where I should have been kicked down because of it. Like I was able to find the silver lining, but on the flip side, like it just makes it like, because I put my heart into it, if my heart isn't in it, it's very obvious.
Sure.
So
absolutely. So how are you at spotting lies?
I feel like I'm pretty good. I know that like with Sean,
Yeah.
I'm
well, you're married to Sean.
I know that I'm married to him, but I know, like for example, on Secret Hitler, I'm pretty good at figuring it out.
And I feel like Sean, just from knowing him a little bit, I feel like he wouldn't be a very good liar. I feel like, especially if it's something innocuous, like I feel like he just.
Yeah. Oh no, he's actually if it's like a prank, he's very very good at. He got me the other night.
Yeah.
Like he said that there was that Olivia, who's the dog right there. Right. She had diarrhea on the bed, and I went into the bedroom and I didn't see it anywhere. And then when he came home later that night, he was laying on the bed. I was like, Sean, you're a liar. There was no diarrhea anywhere. Right. And he's like, you didn't get it. And so then he like got up really fast. And then he started to be like, it's right here, dude. Don't you see it? And then he started to pull back the covers. And I was like, what? And then he's like, it's right here. And there was like nothing. He so got me. That's funny. So I think like for him and for me, because I'm kind of good at that too, like pranking people. The problem is like keeping that on, because I know that it's a prank. Yeah. And I know that it's fake. And like I'm having this mindset for a little bit, but keeping that mindset for like the whole
over 90 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you with dealing with mental stress? How do you compartmentalize that?
I feel like because my dad died a couple of years ago, I actually think that I do pretty well. It's gonna suck, like say that I give in the house. Sean is definitely one of my stronger, like he's my rock.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Not having that is
again, you're married to him, so not
but I think because like learning to deal with my dad's death, and there is just some things that even though Sean was there, no matter what, like I had to go through them myself. Like,
by the way, this is making great social media content. If you get on the show, this is making this is gonna make my job a lot easier.
Oh, good.
Fantastic. Continue with your with how how good you are at compartmentalizing.
Yeah. So I'm not like my sister would do this thing like where she would, after my dad died, she would be like, oh, I have to put this off. I have to focus on this right now. And it worked long term or short term, but it did not work long term. Right. So like for sure you're gonna see me crying. Yeah. I 1000% know that. Yep. But long term, I'm gonna be okay because I'm able to deal with it then. Okay. And then also Sean taught me about this thing where allow yourself 10 minutes to deal with something, like 10 minutes to be frustrated about something, and then that's it. Like, stop after that.
Would you try to, if you were needing that 10 minutes, would you try to do that in the DR? Would you try to go to the DR?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Because, like, you don't want to see, if I'm pissed off that Veronica or whoever, I just chose not to say that plur Veronica, but, like, whoever's in the house with me, she just, like, she screwed me over in a big way. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to rant to my pillow.
Right. So, another question is, just because I'm thinking about your game more and more.
Oh, I really hope this happens.
How do you, because I know you are very, very, one of my favorite things about you is that you are very, very strong, very, very opinionated, very, very much a feminist. It's fantastic. You're fantastic in that way. How do you manage with people that totally are the opposite of what you sort of espouse in championing for people? So like, how do you deal with like the Trump supporters that are in the house? How do you that are very, very obvious about it? Do you hide any part of who you are, or do you
It's unfortunate to say this, but I do. Okay. And that's because
it's very fortunate for Big Brother. So, how do you do
like I ask a couple questions about what it is that they believe, and I kind of determine from that point how extreme their views are. And if they're to the extreme, then I'm not gonna say too much. Right. Just because like there's no chance in saving them at all. But if saving, I hate that was such a bad way to say, like There's no like clear
That was like
conversation that's
religious
going to happen.
self-righteous is what that was. That was fantastic.
Oh God. Okay. But if there's some shred of like common ground,
Yeah, you're gonna
then
find
there's
it.
something to work with.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like that's something that I can be like, well, wait, what about this? And actually like talk back.
Right.
And like speak out. But if there's like, for example, so I went to this protest a couple weeks ago, the March for Our Lives for the against violence. And as I was marching, there was this guy who walked by us.
Right.
And he said, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And it's like, and so that kind of person, like if they're walking by, even though they're a pedestrian, and they are speaking out against something like that, I didn't even want to waste my time with it because I knew that there really wouldn't be any point. Just like there was another lady who was across the street yelling something about end police killings or something like that.
Right.
And so just things that there's really no wiggle room for.
Right. Okay.
So
don't give the people without the argument the time to the time of day in your head, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't do anything about that. They have their opinions, and that's how it's going to stay.
That seems fair. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Kelly, we all hope to see you on Big Brother 20, and if not Big Brother 20, some future season of Big Brother.
I know, right?
We need some more strong females, some strong feminist females in the house. Not that we've had a lack of strong females, but just like the Big Brother US the Big Brother US females have all sort of been what more or less one type of female. You don't really see that much diversity in.
I mean, we had like, but I know what you're talking about. Right. And so you either have like the really nice person or the showman's fate.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so we don't have I'd say Shelly was a really strong competitor. Yes. Vanessa was amazing, but those are both BB17. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think, man, we need to see you on Big Brother 20, and if not Big Brother 20, Big Brother 21, or you know what, Big Brother 30 when you qualify for the old person casting.
Oh my goodness, that'd be crazy, man.
But yeah, you're just like this old feminist.
That's only 9 years from now. I'm not even breaking 40.
I know, but like you know, in Big Brother years, that's an old.
That's true.
But
that's sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, so man. Yeah, we've gone off the rails this podcast. This has been fun though.
It doesn't even matter because there really wasn't much to talk about. So this was way more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
Jacob, you're wonderful.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it. Like, if anyone who, especially after they already broke the barrier by allowing Christmas to stay last season, if anyone who has like a disability is going to get on, it is 100% going to be you.
I really appreciate that. I do know, and I'm acutely aware that they did have a deaf person on the show in an early season.
What?
They did have somebody who was deaf or had some sort of physical disability in an early season, either Big Brother 1 or 2.
Oh, interesting.
But I do know that it hasn't been done to the extent that I would do it. Having somebody in a chair for the entirety of a summer, hopefully, would be absolutely amazing for American television. Because there's nothing that's make-a-wishy about my life. Like,
yeah,
I mean that in the best way possible. Like, my goal would be to show that people with disabilities are more than inspiration porn, and can have value in entertainment beyond being an outlier.
Yeah.
And Big Brother, I think, is the perfect game to show that. It's a lot like it's like a continuous poker game, and so it would be very, very cool for me to get on the show. I feel like for people with disabilities, to see somebody like them that is just a normal dude living a normal life, but happens to have this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can call me an inspiration if I win the 500K, but if I don't, don't bother. Um, you know, that's sort of my outlook is because Christmas was on, and because Kevin won, then you know,
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely win the show.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean,
I love
I'd
it.
love to see it, but
I have a feeling only because like CBS is needing something new. Like they need some kind of new angle because Big Brother is really just turning. It's this thing that just happens every summer, and like
yeah,
I'm interested to see what like twist that they're gonna do, what new thing that they add to the
right,
season, if
yeah.
they do that at all.
I mean, it's the 20th season. I'm expecting they do something crazy because it's 20. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for 10 they went back to basics, right?
Yeah. So maybe
So
20 they have like a new twist or a twist every week from like each
yeah,
old season.
or like kind of like a don't like the Survivor did this season with the ghosts of contestants past or whatever, where
Mm-hmm.
it was a bunch of past competitions or something. But yeah, it's something that's going to be sort of big. I feel like they're haven't they already announced that it's a completely new cast?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Allison Grodner did that, who's the exec producer.
right. And I'm excited for that. That's going to be great. I mean, I loved having Paul on, but it's going to be great to see uh 16 to
So
20 new
much.
people. Um,
So much.
so yeah, it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Kelly Gupley is one of those people, but
Hey.
you know, if not, we'll be here doing this podcast.
Yep.
Uh,
Either way,
so,
it's going to be a good summer.
and maybe we'll have Lou back. We're not.
I know, right?
Hopefully we have Lou back. And if not, we will find some fabulous people.
I already
To
have one standby who's also named Kelly who is interested
perfect,
in coming on for BB20. So he
fantastic.
will be joining us.
Fantastic, fantastic. So yeah, let's end this very long, very just anything you want to
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh.
podcast,
I know, right? I kind
and
of feel like I should rename the title. Like
yeah,
anything goes.
yeah, like the Q&A that nobody asked for.
I
um,
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, we'll be back for next week where we will probably see one of, or actually, yeah.
We'll
Uh,
see the HOH winner
yeah,
and
we'll see.
their noms that don't matter.
Yep. Cool. So
Awesome.
we'll cover the that and then the veto in one episode.
Actually, I no, we might not be covering veto because I think that um they might go like veto, and I think Monday is a special eviction.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So like this is going to be a little bit different because it's
Okay.
end game.
Yep.
Because at Final Four, they're like they really once veto's used, then the only thing that's left to do is just evict. So we won't know. We will know who wins veto.
Okay.
But we won't know how the veto is used until the special eviction episode on Monday.
Nice. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. It's been a blast, Kelly. I love
Yeah.
going down the rabbit hole of Big Brother and with you. It's been fantastic. Let's we'll see
Absolutely.
you Monday, guys.
Yes. Bye, guys.